What is going on, guys? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. We got Jaelan Phillips back, taken off the PUP list today, was cleared to practice in a very limited capacity today, but he's back with the team, going through training camp, and that is a massive, great thing to see. Great news for him to be back with the Miami Dolphins, as it was not too long ago, just about 8 months' time, back towards the end of November, the day after Thanksgiving, he tore that Achilles up in New York against the Jets. And he was having a career season. You look at what he did up to that point. His first year, his rookie year, 8.5 sacks. Fell a little bit to just 7 sacks as a second-year player. Fantastic, having 15.5 sacks from your first 2 seasons, and then 6.5 sacks through 8 games. Was on pace for 14 sacks, give or take, from a full season. So he was having the best season of his career, his most impactful season of his career, and losing Bradley Chubb, 2 massive reasons the Dolphins season kind of fell apart. You lose him against the Jets, you lose Bradley Chubb against the Ravens, you go into that game against the Chiefs, and it was already going to be a bit of an uphill struggle for the Dolphins, but then doing it with Justin Houston, who just brought off the streets, looking at other guys that hadn't got significant snaps all year that were being asked to be the starting edge rushers, that was obviously a massive reason the Dolphins struggled towards the end of last season. So to get him back so early on is huge for the Miami Dolphins getting up doing this season. He will have to play very cautiously, though, over the next month or so leading up to the season. I already expected for both Chubb and Phillips to go into the season missing probably the first 4 games without either of them. Chubb a little bit longer later on in the season, 2 weeks left in the season, regular season, that he tore his ACL. But for Phillips, now coming back, he does have the benefit of being a little bit younger. Chubb's not old by any means, but he is a little bit younger, and he's also gone through this process before. He was medically retired from the sport of football when he was with UCLA, had numerous injuries that just kept stacking up, decided to come back, went to Miami, had a really good season for the Miami Hurricanes, mostly injury-free as far as I can recall. Gets that first-round capital, and that was always the worry with Phillips. Is he going to be able to physically, is his body going to be able to physically stay with him and have him play a healthy career, a healthy enough career? Because injuries are obviously going to happen. And at a very explosive position like edge rusher is, and a guy like Phillips who relies so much on that initial explosiveness off the line, doesn't have the most meat on the bones, isn't the heaviest edge rusher you'll see, certainly more undersized just in terms of weight, 6'5", about 270 pounds, relies on that first step so crucially, and obviously that's what ended up giving out on him, that first step against the Jets, breaking off the line towards the end of the game, really when the game was already decided, tearing that Achilles. And you saw how much it meant to him in that moment, how much it broke his heart, because he wasn't just having a great season, but the Dolphins in general are having a great season. There was a very realistic vision looking forward that the Dolphins would have been able to make the playoffs, potentially even as a number 1 seed in the playoffs, at the very least winning the division. And then because of injuries and other team-related stuff that just didn't work the way in the Dolphins' favor, they make the playoffs, but just as a wild card team, if they didn't beat the Cowboys, it would have been a very nerve-wracking final day of the season when we played the Bills. But you beat the Cowboys, you get in, and then to not win a game beyond that Cowboys game was rough to see. And a lot of it was, again, losing Phillips and Chubb. I don't know how long it's going to be till we see Chubb back. I don't really know how long it's going to be till we see Phillips back. Obviously, him working out and participating in practice is a good sign. That you can't really take anything away other than a positive. That season hasn't even started yet. We've got about a month's time now for week 1, a little bit less than a month's time for week 1. And he's back with the team. He's practicing, limited fashion, but just out there getting those reps, testing out the Achilles, trying to get some trust in your body. Just as much as you're trying to get your body to heal, you want to know that it's healed. You want to be able to go out there and get some good live reps to be able to trust your body that you have gone through this process. Again, a similar process to what he's gone through already. Not quite an Achilles, but just having to rehab injuries, something that's been pretty frequent for Jaelan Phillips throughout his career. I would not expect him to play week 1. I would not expect him to be available for the Miami Dolphins on week 1. If he is, I'll throw my hands up in the air and be like, all right, awesome. Having him at an edge position, at a position where the Dolphins do not have a lot of experience going into the season. You lose Phillips, you lose Chubb, and then obviously Shaq Barrett retiring about a couple weeks ago now was pretty blindsided the Dolphins, expecting to have that experience, have somebody who's potentially a Hall of Famer, certainly somebody who's going to see his jersey retired for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Shaq Barrett. You think you have him, you find out you don't. you go forward and you're like, you look at the available room, and at the time when I remember I made a video about either Chop Robinson or the edge position, whatever it was, but there was nobody on the team at the edge position that had a sack in their career. The only guys that were active on the roster that were not hurt at the time were mostly practice squad guys from the team last year and special team guys from across the league is what the Dolphins had to deal with. And now getting Chubb back, 15.5 sacks in his first season, projected 14 sacks last year if he stayed healthy. Figure out the other side of the line, whether it's Chop, whether it's Kamara, whether it's probably going to be Ogba. It's probably not going to be week 1 for Phillips. I probably don't want it to be week 1 for Phillips. You want to have your team together from the start and put your best foot forward from week 1. But if he's not at 100%, there's no reason to push Jaelan Phillips out there. We already know going into this year that the defense for the Miami Dolphins is going to be completely different than it was last year. Is it better? Is it worse? That is still something we'll have to find out. But we already know how different this defense is going to look. So to have it all come together and gel together as a cohesive unit, you need players healthy. You need your best guys out there. You need, arguably, I wouldn't say he's our best player, but after Jalen Ramsey, somebody who's in the conversation for best defensive player on the team in Phillips. You want him out there. You want him healthy. And he's just another step closer to that. I'm excited to see him out there. I'm excited to see what he can handle in practice. First day today, getting out there, getting some reps in, testing out the Achilles, just getting loose and getting ready for the season. Probably won't play week 1. Probably won't play week 2, but week 3, week 4, I'm not a doctor, so take my medical advice with a grain of salt. I'm just going based off what I've seen in recent history from guys across the NFL. It is getting better and better, but something about an Achilles injury, regardless of the fact that it's getting better throughout the NFL in general, I'm pretty hesitant whether he'll be out there for week 1. If he is, cool. If not, probably the right decision. How excited are you about this news? Are you excited to see Jaelan Phillips back? I feel like I pretty easily know the answer to that question. Let us know down below in the comments. Well, how do you want the Dolphins to handle this? Do you see him playing week 1? Would you rather him miss a few games and make sure he is completely 100% ready to go? Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Down there, hit the like button, hit the sub button. Y'all already know what to do. Till next time, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.